welcome to another interview. And today I've got the wonderful Louis with me, or Louise, and he's going to talk about his journey. And I'm not going to ask that normal question, why did you become carnivore? I'm going to just say, hey, could you just tell us about your health journey?
Sure. So I'm currently on a kidney transplant list, and it's due to uncontrolled hypertension and diabetes that I basically developed over the COVID pandemic. I wasn't able to see a doctor because, of course, they wouldn't let you into the hospitals or clinics or anything to see them, and I wasn't able to get any testing done. So in 2022, when I finally did see that doctor in December, they ran my labs and they were very concerned. They immediately called me up and told me that my GFR was 23, which is horrible. It should have been above 60. And that I was just basically in a tailspin and things were going real badly for me, and they expected me to be on dialysis within 9 months. I was completely floored by that news. I didn't expect that. And I was really just kind of in denial at first. I didn't want to accept that. And, many people were telling me, well, that's it. It's terminal. You're done. There's nothing you can do. I decided to go and get a second opinion through a program that my employer offers. And so I went and I asked some specialists from Harvard to basically look into it. And they told me pretty much the same thing. They said, yeah, their diagnosis is pretty much right on. And there's not much you can do because the damage has been done. All the scarring and everything that has happened and the damages occurred cannot be repaired. It's an organ that cannot be repaired and you cannot come back from. So you basically have to pretty much, just deal with what the doctor's telling you, follow the protocol. Sorry to give you that news, but that's what they told me. I was really depressed for a little while. And my wife kept urging me to, seek alternative methods and care. So I started, taking a look at things like doing research and educating myself about the plant-based diets that they asked me to do, and then finally, going to and doing renal diets and things like that. And I was just getting progressively worse. Anytime I would taste anything with meat, and it was like a very strong metallic taste in my mouth. It was horrible. I couldn't tolerate any kind of meat at all. I couldn't eat seafood. It was getting really bad, and I wasn't losing weight, which was the worst thing. I was actually gaining more weight. So I decided to educate myself, and then I started taking a look into other things, and then I got sent to the local hospital system here that specializes in kidney transplants, and they ran me through the gamut of tests and everything, and they say, yeah, you're going to need a kidney transplant. We're going to recommend you for the kidney transplant list. And that was just shortly before my wife and I had a trip scheduled to go out to Italy, because I had been telling her about Italy all my entire life when I was there as a child. That I really enjoyed it, and it was so magical, and it was so peaceful there. So we decided to take that trip. We figured it might be my last hurrah, so she might as well enjoy it. So we did. We went. When we went there, I didn't think I was going to survive that trip. And the reason being is that I was so weak. I could barely carry my own luggage. I could barely, walk 10 feet. I would be so tired and lethargic. My thinking was cloudy. My judgment was completely off. At times, I was even starting to kind of lose my sight. It would darken in and out. And I knew I was in dire straits, but I told my wife, I said, we're going to Italy. No matter what it takes. If I die there, then so be it. But we went to Italy. On my way there, I remember praying, and I'm not a religious person by any stretch of the imagination. I used to be when I was small. I was young. But I prayed and I said, let me come to Italy and I will show my gratitude and my respects. I will come to Assisi and to the Vatican to do so. Just please, show me the way or give me some sort of sign that, there's a way out of this and then I'll be okay. So we went and, I really couldn't take any of my food with me because it's international, right? You couldn't bring fruits and vegetables and all that other kind of stuff. So I said, well, I'm just going to have to eat whatever they had to offer. But the thing that I didn't realize and I had completely forgotten about was that in Italy, everything is mostly farm to table. So it's not processed foods or anything like that, which is really wonderful because it's all seasonal and it's all fresh. And I was eating things like steak, like in Florence. I had some of the best ribeye in the entire world. And oh my God, it was so tasty. And I thought to myself, you know what? This steak may kill me, but I'm going to enjoy it. I'm just going to enjoy it. And lo and behold, I was surprised that nothing happened. I mean, I still retained my energy. In fact, I got more energy from that. And I was out walking around on those cobblestone streets and everything because you have to walk everywhere, catch trains and things like that. That it forced me to get exercise. So it was a godsend to go on that trip. And then I started to realize that, you know, everything that we eat is basically is what's causing the issues for us. Because when I was in Italy, the whole time I was there for 10 days, I never felt sick. I mean, the first days when I arrived, I was. But after I was eating the farm table food, everything that was on the menus at the restaurants, it was wonderful. I couldn't believe what a big difference it made. It's like my life changed at total 180. So I was completely excited. We were coming back to the States, and I told my wife, I said, you know, this is an impetus for me to get my second win and go out there and find a way to resolve this thing. I've got to get a hold of this thing. We got to take charge of it, and I got to survive. So we got back, and the hospital system called me, and they said, you know, we have a recommendation for you that, you know, now that you're on a transplant list, that we want you to lose weight. And the best way that you're going to do that, because we know about your struggles. I was talking to the nutritionist there and the psychologist, and they told me, they said, you need to get bariatric surgery. That way, when you get a new kidney or a donor kidney, it will last longer for you. You'll get more mileage out of it, which I was totally on board with that. I understood. So I decided that, okay, I'm going to go ahead and follow up with this. I called my insurance company, and they basically told me that they did not cover the procedure. So again, I felt let down and like I was doomed once more. And then again, my wife picked me up and said, you know what, you need to continue on, keep fighting. We got to keep asking questions. So I decided to call our healthcare advocate from my employer. And lo and behold, they told me, they said, well, your company pays for another insurance policy that you guys don't have to pay for and you're not even aware of, but they'll cover your bariatric surgery. And I was shocked to hear that, but it was true. They were paying for everything. I only had to pay my deductible. So fast forward to January of this year, I went and I got my bariatric surgery procedure done. When I got there, I knew I was in really bad shape because my GFR was 10. And by this time, I really should have been on dialysis. My doctors and my surgeon were really, really afraid to do the surgery because they thought I wouldn't make it. But they went ahead and performed the surgery because they knew it was important. It was a last-ditch effort to try to turn this thing around and try to arrest the hypertension and the diabetes through bariatric surgery. So they went ahead and did the surgery. I was supposed to be in there for 2 days. It ends up after the second day, they ran in there the entire medical team. I mean, it was that my bariatric doctor, cardiac surgeon, a nephrologist, the medical director, and they basically told me, they said, we have to get you up to the cardiac unit because your potassium levels are so high that it's interrupting the communication processes to your heart, and your heart could stop at any moment. And I felt perfectly fine. I thought they were kidding. I said, no, come on. We've been through all this already, and if you guys did the surgery, this can't be happening to me. So I reluctantly called my wife, to tell her, she was staying at a local hotel, to don't freak out when you come down here, you don't see me in the room anymore because I'm now on cardiac. And she was shocked and floored. She got there and they gave her the news. And they said, your husband may have to go back on a medevac flight with emergency dialysis, basically putting a stent in my chest. And I was just floored by all this news. I couldn't believe it, and I couldn't understand it. But then again, I heard that voice in my head say, no, you're going to be fine. Just continue on the path. Ask the right questions. I started asking the nephrologist, is there anything you can do to counteract that potassium? Is there anything that you can do to help me? Because all my other numbers are starting to look good. My blood pressure and everything else is starting to look good, but my potassium was way out of line. And the nephrologist says, yeah, there's a new medication that's out there that we'll prescribe for you. It's rather expensive. We'll see if your company pays for it. Luckily, they did. I was on that medication just for a couple of days in the hospital. And it completely turned around my potassium levels, brought them back down to normal, just at the very top of the normal range. And they said, it's the fastest we've seen anybody actually turn this thing around. And we're going to release you, but you have to stay here another week and you have to follow up on some other appointments with the surgeons. So I did. And a week later, they said, you're completely in the normal level for your potassium. So we're going to go ahead and just clear you for travel so you can go back home. Because I had the procedure done in Monterey, California, and I live in Scottsdale. So we came back home and I followed everything to the T, all the diet, all the new medications. They cut all my old medications off and they gave me new medications, which was about a half of what I used to take before. And I started completely just losing weight. I started to feel better. I started getting energy. Before, I would have to take naps 4 or 5 times a day because I was so exhausted. I couldn't even think clearly. I thought I was going to lose my job. But no, luckily, I was able to survive through all that. So that's my story at Comeback. I'm really here to just tell people, like, you have to take control of your life. And how I did that was, noticing that when I was in Italy, that was the first inkling that I got. Something's wrong with the food that we eat. And once I started digging into that, and it was all a farm table, and I made that association. When we got back here, that's all I did. I told my wife, I said, no more processed foods, no more canned things or things, coming out that are packaged or anything like that. We were going to buy fresh, lean meat. I eat a lot of bison or buffalo now, chicken and fish. I never used to be able to eat seafood before because they said the potassium was too high. And now I eat it. I eat crab. I eat, lobster, all that. And I'm enjoying my life now. I'm in incredible shape. I just weighed myself this morning and I weigh 199 from a total weight of 289 pounds in January.
Wow. Now, that's a great story, and I'm glad you're eating the animal proteins and not scared. Have you had your GFR measured by any chance?
Yes, I did. In my last GFR 2 months ago, now, mind you, they wanted me to go to the doctor like every 2 weeks to every month because my GFR was so bad before. Now they're telling me to come every 3 months. I got to visit my nephrologist next month. But my GFR went from 10 to 17.
Cool. Okay. So are you, have they given you a target where they want your GFR to get to before?
They wanted above 20, but they said they're happy with the success that we've had so far. And I did talk to my new nephrologist, and he basically told me, what did this other doctor tell you? I said, just plant-based diet only, and then eventually go to a renal diet and all that stuff. And he was giving me on his medications. He was putting you in a grave and just preparing you, to go on dialysis. I said, yeah, I kind of surmised that, but I'm glad I found you, and I'm glad I found a way. And, that Italy trip was the impetus. It turned everything completely around, made me find those associations. It's weird how the universe works, but everything came to play all at once. And just being in Italy and having those, those meals was just incredible. It showed me a number of things that were wrong in my life. And ever since then, we've been eating healthy, and we've been eating fresh foods, and the meats that we choose now are all lean. When we go and we get, I very rarely eat ribeye now, but it's mostly, very lean steaks and stuff like that, and bison. If you didn't red meat, no more.
And no more. And as you said, the strict plant-based diet was supposed to slow the progression of your hypertension, arrest the progression of hypertension, lose some weight, but that didn't work. And you did something that many people would be scared to do because of the myth about protein being bad for your kidneys, and it started to make you feel better, which is great. One of the things I will say for people watching is nephrons do die. This thing about kidneys not being able to be repaired, what they're talking about is not about function. They're talking about nephrons. Now, you can donate a kidney because we have so many nephrons. If you're healthy, you can donate a whole kidney and live your life normally because that's how many nephrons we've got. So we're not saying that all the nephrons have come back to life. That's not what this chat is about. We're talking about the function, the filtration rate is improving, and overall health is improving. We're not saying this is magic and it's made nephrons come back to life. So I just wanted to clarify that. And it is all about actually getting back on your feet. and you're using meats, which allegedly is not good for your kidney, and it's helping you. So that's the whole point of the story. And I'm really glad that you sort of approached me to tell the story, because this isn't about anti this or, pro that. It's about hope for people. And if we look at the beginning of your story, you were up for dialysis. You were given a terminal diagnosis. You could have rolled over and said, "Well, that's it," and that's it. You could have given up, and people do. So I'm hoping if there's people in this situation and they're watching this, even from maybe a hospital bed, try and take control of your own health. Learn things. Don't take everything for granted. I love the fact that you've got a second opinion, and even after a second opinion, you thought, no, this doesn't feel right. I definitely can do something. And to go to Italy, which incidentally is my sort of spiritual home. I did a tour of Italy. I worked in Italy. I love Italy. You're absolutely right. The food quality is amazing. And you've gone from this horrible tasting steak to this luscious, beautiful meat. So, it's life-changing, isn't it? It's fantastic. And you look really well. You really do look well.
I totally feel like I'm living a miracle. I tell my doctor, my surgeon, my bariatric surgeon, I say, "You saved my life." And he kind of chuckles all the time when I have a televisit with him. And he says, "It's not over yet." And I said, "No, but I should have died." And I didn't. And I'm here today, and I go walk on the treadmill a mile every morning, and then I lift weights. I don't bodybuild, but I'm lifting weights to get toned and get fat healthy and everything. And I feel stronger than ever before. I no longer take naps. My thinking is clear. If anything, it has brought so much clarity to me that one of the things that I wanted to impress upon people is that when you're that ill, don't let other people dictate to you what your future is going to be. What you need to do is take control of your life and make a determination that you will survive, and you're going to do anything that it takes. But the other thing is, too, is taking personal responsibility, for everything that you eat, all your actions and inactions, mostly, right? And then being able and making sure that you have all your medical records and everything in order so that you share that with all your doctors. Here in the United States, they do share a lot of that information, but things get lost in translation, because I would go from the hospital system that's got me on a kidney transplant list to my new nephrologist, and he wouldn't be aware of some things. And same thing with my primary care physician, saying the bariatric surgery. So I kept all my records and everything together, and I made sure I communicated with everybody exactly what was going on with me, pretty much on a daily basis. So in that way, I took control of it, and I kept them apprised of everything, so much so that the insurance company that took care of the bariatric, they took all that into account. And because they gave me an estimate before my surgery, and it was over $100,000. And that's way overpriced for bariatric surgery. And I wasn't computing that in my mind. I didn't understand why. Well, when the surgeons were there, and the medical director and the nephrologist and the cardiologist were all there, then I understood why the bill was so expensive, because they had an entire medical team waiting for me, just in case anything happened, and they were prepared. And that was just mainly because of what we gave them, all the information about my health.
Yes. I mean, your GFR was 10. You were in a critical situation, and some people will comment that I shouldn't be condoning bariatric surgery, but that's missing the point completely and utterly. It's about taking control and doing the right thing at the right time with the circumstances. And, if that was the only way you were going to get a new kidney, I know that wasn't, what subsequently was needed. You're going to do it. You're going to do it because you were in that situation. So I suppose as a consumer, I mean, you've watched some of my videos. That's how we've met, which is really great. You probably know that people comment. So they're going to ask a question. And I'm going to ask you a question now, which might seem a mean one. Well, what do you think originally got you into the bad health in the first place?
Well, the thing that got me into bad health in the first place was basically I work in IT. And from that, it's mostly a desk job. And then for many years, I was traveling back and forth from Tucson to Phoenix, and that's a very long drive, 127 miles each way. So on top of an 8 to 10 hour day, I was doing an additional 4 hours driving. So I would go home completely exhausted, just throw whatever I had in my mouth, or stop for some fast food, throw it in my gut and everything and just go home and go to sleep and do it again all over, for the next day. Weekends were spent just barely trying to clean house and just take care of rudimentary things. And then it's right back to the chase. And I did that for about 11 years of doing that crazy commute and working hard. And all that just kind of spiraled my health way out of control. Because I remember when I was doing those long drives, I would have kidney pain, and I thought it was kidney stones. And I remember I had gotten checked back then, and they told me they said, no, you don't have kidney stones, but you have something going on because the imaging doesn't look right. They could never really identify what was going on. They ran all the blood work and everything else, and everything would come back normal. So I don't know, this started way back. I would imagine so, because then back then I also started having cramps all over my body. And later on progressed to neuropathic pain. And then anytime I would get dehydrated, it was quite frequently, and I would have these incredible just, cramps on my arms, my chest, my legs, my feet, everywhere. It was debilitating. There's times that, you just pray for death because it was so horrible. I mean, your bones are twisting and everything. It was so horrible. And then the neuropathy was even worse on top of that. You barely walk. Your feet feel like they're on fire and you pins and needles all the time. But I learned through, supplementation and watching what I eat and everything, how to manage it. Now I no longer have any of those symptoms at all. The neuropathy is gone. No more cramps. I feel completely normal now.
But it sounds like your mindset is different as well, because, you said in the middle of what you just answered that, you prayed to be dead. I mean, was the pain that much that you really felt?
It was horrible. I would beg my wife, I said, please, don't let them put me in a hospital and attach me to machines. I don't want to live that way. This is too painful. I don't want to do it. And I was really praying for death at that time because it was horrible. That was in 2022. But here I am 2 short years later and complete change.
Well, yes. I mean, I didn't know you then, but I mean, I would not, from that story, expect you to be like this. And in fact, I'll be absolutely honest, to wear my heart on the sleeve, when I got your first message, I was thinking, I don't know what this guy's going to look like, but I want to know this story. And I was gobsmacked at how well you look, how fit you look, how energetic you sound, because you've had 3 or 4 years of absolute hell. And before that, 11 years of this terrible commute. So you've come out the other side much smarter as well, haven't you, as well as fitter. Do you feel that you have a message for other people in this type of situation?
Yes, there's always hope. Do not give up hope. Take charge of your health. And how you start is first, everything starts in the gut. Your gut health is of primary importance. I learned that very early on. You have a healthy gut and you're treating your body right, your body will take care of you. If your gut starts failing you, then your kidneys start getting into trouble, your liver, then your gallbladder, everything starts going out of control. Your thyroid, all your numbers get completely skewed. And at that point, you're pretty much already in danger. So please, if anything, take charge of your life. You can do it. If I did it, you can do it.
Great. I'm going to leave it there. I think that's fabulous. Unless there's something else you wanted to say, I think you've covered it all, haven't you?
No, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, I saw my relatives, my grandparents and other people pass away from diabetes and kidney disease. And I saw how much they suffered on dialysis, and that was not the way I wanted to go. So I think there's hope for people. If I could turn it around, they can turn it around.